We're just going to do this now. Okay, we're talking about, I'll just hold it, it's fine. Talking about pastors and shepherds, which are the same thing. Pastors and shepherds. So we're talking about the the difference between what an actual shepherd does with his sheep, for his sheep, and what a pastor, the American pastor, the American church and the pastoral position. Anyway, when it comes to feeding, well, one, there's intimacy between the sheep and their shepherd. The shepherd knows his sheep.
Yeah. Do you explain that part of the show that I just said?
Okay, well, you say it here, because
Well,
you
just
saw it. I didn't see it.
Watching the Nativity movie, there's a scene where the shepherds are sitting around and Mary and Joseph are walking past them on the way to Bethlehem, and there's a shepherd sitting there and warming by the fire, and there's a sheep up on his feet, hind feet are on the ground, but his front feet are on his lap, and his face is just trying to get his, just cuddle, just be there right in front of his face. It was really, to me, it gripped me. That scene just gripped me, of that sheep. It just completely focused on the shepherd.
Yeah.
And the pastor. That's what that shepherd did. It's just petted him.
Yeah.
Loved on him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So. Yeah, so there was relationship there. It wasn't just like
trust.
Yeah. And so the shepherd not only knows his sheep, but knows each of his sheep enough to go, wait, I'm missing. I'm missing one, and I'm going to go after it, So there's that, and how important it is for a pastor to know that their main job is not to preach sermons. Their main job is to shepherd. And that means being in relationship with their congregation, their flock. And that's something that, honestly, genuinely grieves me about the what I see with pastoral training, is that it's more about how to guard yourself from your congregation, and to just write a good sermon and do this hierarchy of delegate these responsibilities, and but there needs to be intimacy. The sheep need a shepherd, and a pastor's job is to represent Jesus in that role of a shepherd. And then we were talking about feeding, that a shepherd leads his flock to pasture. Yeah. So he leads them into pasture, and they go and graze.
Yeah.
It's not, but what I see here in just the construct of American pastors, or just pastors, church pastors, is that they take the food, they take the grass or whatever, and make it something that is palatable to them, and then hand feed it to their sheep, instead of allowing their sheep, leading their sheep to a place where they can themselves graze, and they can learn, they can choose which areas they want to go, but it's all in the safe area that the shepherd has, that the shepherd has led them to, and watches over them and cares for them, tends for them, but the sheep are self-sufficient.
Yeah, yes, that's good.
And I don't see that. I see a flock, or flocks, trained to go directly to the shepherd to get their food, to be sustained, and filter, I guess, in the times that they read, and everything is just filtered through someone else's revelation, someone else's, devotionals is all explained.
Yeah.
Like, read this verse, this is what it means, now write your thoughts about it. And so it's even the times that we as church people will go and study the word, say daily, it's more about having people make it make sense for us, and
Yeah.
us just going, okay, now I understand, instead of seeking revelation and seeking Holy Spirit to teach.
Yeah.
You know, there's not that trust. We need people to tell us what to think instead of the Holy Spirit to tell us what to think.
Yeah, and that's residue from the Catholic way of that was the one church at that time where it all had to be filtered through a priest.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even give them access to the word.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when you're talking, I'm completely picturing that one scene. Like that, like everything that you're saying
Yeah, I need to see it.
fits that one scene
Mm-hmm.
of the shepherd with his sheep. You know,
Yeah.
and if, like, Lord, give downpour in that one of those fivefold ministries position, the purpose and the heavenly vision for what a pastor does.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine that would really weed out a lot of pastoring positions, because you have to be completely a shepherd.
Yeah. I think that what has happened is that there are people who feel like they're led to go into ministry,
So they
and ministry
automatically
means
call it
pastoring.
You're right.
Or there's someone who feels a desire to teach, and they go into a pastoral position to teach when that's not their position. You know,
Mm-hmm.
unless you, I just think of, okay, we'll be done here.